guess that's. I guess I got a reaction like both of you.
All right. Welcome to another week. Although, remember, the work week is a fiction. Monday, doubly so. You can get rid of them if you really want to. This is Social Justice Alchemy. So, anything in particular you'd like to start talking about?
No, fuck Peter Coffin.
yeah, I'll agree with Legion on this. Fuck Peter Coffin.
Yeah. For the listeners who might not be aware, that whole fiasco exploded on the LeftTube, BreadTube, YouTube community, leftists. Ooh, where to start? Well, starts with Lorelei Bailey, a trans woman. And,
fuck that woman.
Yep.
A rapist.
Who has been accused over the years, perhaps, of multiple incidents of sexual assault, sexual grooming, and just outright rape.
Also, she's an FBI snitch, and also she faked her own suicide to guilt her critics into silence a few years back. What else? There's so many bullshit with that woman. Anyways.
Now, I have heard from someone who kind of like mitigates the FBI snitch thing, whereas like this is the apologist for just that incident, that she was about to go to jail as a trans woman to a men's prison, and she feared for her life for that, so that's why she snitched. But if people still say she's the FBI snitch, I won't correct people on that.
That makes sense. Ugh. All right, now Peter Coffin comes into it because Lorelei was a mod on his YouTube channel during his live streams.
And one of their friends, too.
Oh, and a friend? I was not aware of that.
Well, it depends on who you ask, because Peter Coffin would say that I don't know this person. That's what Peter Coffin say. But she was but I know a lot of people that said that they, and Gwendolyn Fear has like expressed this on Twitter, that she did not feel comfortable in Peter Coffin's Discord because Lorelei Bailey was there. And I heard this from other people, that they just do not want to be in Peter Coffin's Discord server because of her being there. And so I think she was a mod in the Discord server, but like, yeah, she definitely was a mod on Peter Coffin's channel, YouTube channel. But Peter Coffin thought that he removed her as a mod, but it wasn't. He didn't then finally remove her as a mod until like last week. So because of that, people would think that like Peter Coffin and Lorelei Bailey have this association, and in like the anatomy of a rape apologist, or what was the thing, a rape survivor. The Medium article by the Burned Witch on Medium, she said that like Peter Coffin is like a white knight, and I think what people claim that is because of that kind of relationship that Lorelei Bailey and Peter Coffin have, and then how Peter Coffin takes a no stance on like, is Lorelei Bailey a rapist or not.
Gotcha.
No, it's not a no stance. It's I am not a cop stance. It's
exactly
way worse. What he's saying is we can't know if her accusers are telling the truth. And no, for fuck's sake, we're not some shitlord like Sargon or... What the fuck?
To be as fair as possible to Peter, he might have been just hoping to avoid drama, given his past, but I don't really...
That's not how you avoid drama.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think I in fact, like, I was in like a private Twitter group that like that's where I learned a couple of different things, and I shared those links on Twitter as well. And that even if like, yeah, in order to like, from what I read, in order to think that like I don't want to take a stance on it. You have to like either not believe the people who are coming forward, and then some people would like ask for receipts, and it's just like, well, what do you need? Okay, so maybe it's not the direct victim that is speaking, is someone else speaking for them, or they post it on like Encyclopedia Dramatica, or it's on Pastebin or something like that. But it's like, why are you mitigating and why are you dismissing accusations of rape, sexual assault, and abuse?
Because it was trans women that were abused.
Oh, that's
I'm sorry, but I'm completely okay to die on this hill. If Lorelai's victims had been cis women, that whole drama would never have taken place.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'll die on that hill with you, Liz.
And when I see how it hurts Gwen, for instance, it really pisses me off, I have to say. When I saw Angie talk about that, it broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck Angie too. I'm not happy she was harassed and all that, but fuck her too. Let's be clear here.
Yeah, I honestly did not see the stream that Peter Coffin and Angie Speaks did. And it wasn't until like just like in the past hour did I finally saw Maria the Witch's video about the whole thing. But so from what I seen from Maria the Witch video about that stream, it's like, Angie, please, no.
She said the exact same thing Peter did about.
Well, it wasn't just
we don't
what
know
she said.
Who is telling the truth. There are at least three different women who have come forward.
Yeah, and that's in my mind.
As we know that don't know each other. I'm sorry, 3. That's a number you can deny. There's no doubt in anyone's minds who knows Lorelei Bailey. Also,
the thing is with Angie is that she was like 2 people removed from this. She wasn't directly associated with Lorelei at all. She started getting...
People have...
Go ahead.
I agree with you, John, that like she was not directly associated with Lorelei Bailey. People just like see that like her name and She Speaks is like Patreons, and that's where people think that there's a connection.
Yeah, and also they started telling her to start cutting off Peter, who had not, cut off Lorelei. And then she started getting all sorts of god-awful harassment, which is obviously tied up in race and gender and completely unacceptable in the way it played out.
No, I'm really not happy this is happening to her, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like anything that anyone could do to deserve that level, but definitely She Speaks did not do it.
Don't fucking bully a black woman into silence, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so again, for the listeners, she got just months, I think it was, of harassment and threats of doxing, and then she was actually doxed. People hacked into her Patreon thing, and I think a couple of other of her accounts. She was being called a rape apologist, and I think people actually also called her a rapist herself.
Yeah, someone made the comments of like, did she use like a Dr. Bones 2.0? And then Dr. Bones is another thing as well. That's just terrible.
A leftist who groomed trans women for sexual exploitation and I believe sexual abuse. I don't know if he assaulted or raped anyone. I can't recall. That was a few months back.
I did read the testimony, and it's like it definitely was like he got them drunk, and so definitely consent was like very iffy, and it was just like not.
I recall that now.
Cool.
I think you're right, and I would call that assault, rape. Yeah. But Angie definitely.
Yeah, calling Angie that it's ridiculous, but I can see where the people accusing her of being a rape apologist come from.
Yeah.
If you adopt a skeptic stance on rape survivors, you have to be prepared to have that kind of backlash. I'm saying the rape apologist thing, not the rest, okay?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
And again, in Angie's case, she wasn't even associated with Lorelei, and people started doing this because she refused to cut off Peter Coffin, and I think that might be like 2 steps too far.
Yeah, I agree, but she shouldn't have
Should she have to learn about Lorelei Bailey?
Honestly, if I hadn't seen the comments she made,
which ones in particular? She's been talking about this. Well, she talked about this a lot in the last week or two.
The comments she made about her agnosticism on the truthfulness of the accusers.
Yeah.
If she hadn't talked about this, I would still be behind her. Honestly.
Yeah. That's understandable. I see where you're coming from there.
But honestly, I'm disgusted and disappointed, and not in Peter. I already was done with them before that. So,
what exactly turned you off from Peter before that?
A few months back, he made a video about overpopulation and eugenics.
It was like number 13 of his very important documentaries.
I recall it not very well.
That's a video with 50-something minutes. So
51.
Almost,
yeah, 51. I can watch
almost
it again.
an hour. And he manages to not talk about disabled people in a video about eugenics in 50 minutes.
He was more focused on overpopulation than like the disabled people.
Yeah. Was that mostly about white genocide or?
No, because he briefly talked about autistic folks. So
I'm gonna have to watch it again. I don't remember anything about it.
So some people told me, but have you talked to him about it? Do I really have to write to someone I don't know that ableism is bad?
Yeah, I did bring it up to him how like my friend was who's disabled was really pissed you did not mention disabled people, and I forgot his response is just like I think it was along the lines like, and this was like a month or two after he made that video. It's like, yeah, no, I have heard the complaints before, so he knows of the complaints, but he at this point he just like almost shrugs it off that like, yeah, I forgot disabled people in my video.
So
Peter can make some really good points. He also has some big blind spots, I think.
Yeah, I will agree there's big blind spots, but I want to also speak to him from my experience with Peter Coffin that he doesn't take criticisms well. And
no.
This kind of like shined a light to me when there was this like thread back in the election, back before the midterms. Peter Coffin made a thread about this advertisement of like grabbing by the ballot. He got wind of it when right-wingers started making fun of it. He did mention how like these right-wingers are not bright of like making fun of that or how they made fun of that, but then he spent the rest of the thread criticizing the grabbing by the ballot advertisements. I was like, I got no reaction out of it. But then when I saw Go Fem Yourself's video of it, I was like, oh my God, Go Fem Yourself makes a lot of good points. Oh man, I agree with her on a lot of things. And so I like Go Fem Yourself's video a lot. But when I tell that to Peter Coffin himself, he did not react well.
Yeah.
That's funny because for someone who made a whole video to criticize people who want to be perpetually correct, he can't seem to really like being wrong.
And I had to say to him, okay, you saw the grabbing by the ballot advertisements as like they're treating it as a threat. They're threatening women to vote blue in the start of blue wave in the midterms, but I don't see it that way. You look at dark lighting, you look at this, you look at those aspects of that ad and see it as a threat. I don't see it as a threat. That's art. That's people have different experiences with pieces of art. But yeah, it's like he did kind of admit that he shouldn't use some words like objectification or like sexiness when describing his reaction to the ads, but he still stands by what he says about the ad. And so, so Go Fem Yourself. He does not have high opinions about Go Fem Yourself after that. And when he he didn't even notice that was a thing until like Garrett said, "Oh yeah, go find yourself video on like Peter Coffin's thread. It was really good," and that kind of like Peter Coffin did not react well. And then he accused that Garrett was like, is Peter Coffin around? Okay, let me say some things about Peter Coffin. That's unfair because Garrett's not on Twitter at all. So, and Garrett would not be shy about like.
Also, that's what I was going to say. Garrett doesn't need to go behind his back.
Garrett will say things about people if they come up to his face and it's like, "What do you say about?"
Yeah. Peter, he strikes me as being bright, passionate, caring, but he has the white guy problem, agender or not. He doesn't respond to criticism well, and he's not good at dealing with his blind spots, I don't think. And in this case, I think he really fucked up for a really long time regarding Lorelei Bailey.
Oh yeah.
For months, even close friends like not go defend yourself. Gwen O'Fear, they're both awesome. But like Gwen O'Fear has like confided into Peter about how Laura Bailey makes her uncomfortable, but yet it wasn't until like just recently, like last week, as we record this, did Peter Coffin finally took some actions, and.
Until then, he routinely responded to people who came to him with concerns with fuck off or go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yay.
I
guess.
He leans really heavily on his personal history with being harassed or embarrassed or whatever. I think that excuse might be wearing pretty thin.
I know he has a fucked up history. Well, not by his fault.
Yeah.
But that's not an excuse. You don't treat people like that.
I will also like bring up like the vegan anarchists like tweeted this out and I retweeted it. The left has a cult of personality problem because there's because like Curiosity months ago recommended Peter Coffin's book, Custom Reality Review, and I still like that book. I mean, some of Peter Coffin, I haven't watched many of Peter Coffin's videos recently, but I still enjoy some of his works. I have a problem with Peter as a person, but that doesn't mean I can't watch some of the stuff that I think is really good. But when Curiosity tweeted out, I recommend Peter Coffin's book, Custom Reality Review, she got a bunch of like a bit of a harassment, a bit of backlash of like, how can you like recommend Peter Coffin's book? Do you know what Peter Coffin has done? And that is a problem on the left in our circles that we have to recognize in ourselves and recognize that in others and try to like be mindful of how we interact online, especially on social media and Twitter and stuff like that.
Were they going after Curiosity? Were they going after her because of the Lorelei Bailey thing or what?
I don't know if
it was before it blew up. So
it was just
this was months ago.
So why were they upset that she was recommending Peter's book because of the catfishing? What I mean?
Because of the fake girlfriend thing.
Yeah, the catfishing. Okay,
that's really that story is so fucking utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, no matter whether it's true
really
or
not
whether
funny, but.
It's just absurd on so many levels.
It just reminds me of this book I read in like it was written in 2011, 2012 by Ryan Holiday. Trust Me, I'm Lying, Confessions of a Media Manipulator. And he covered Gawker throughout the whole thing. And it was like a year later, I heard him in a follow-up interview in like 2013, what his opinion about like the whole thing. And he said, it's just gotten worse. And I imagine it's just gotten completely worse because look at Breitbart and look at InfoWars, where you can just publish whatever you want and people will take it seriously.
So I think we've definitely exhausted Peter. Angie, her response in general was, but at the same time, I kind of understand it.
She should just have shut up, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I from what it sounds like, she got massive harassment starting from the very beginning, and she didn't talk about it at all until very recently. Because I've been following her for a little while now, I don't recall her saying anything about this. until this last week or two. You two might
No,
have.
me neither.
Yeah.
She did make that like a video about like the left has a cloud game problem, and much like the other.
Yeah, but I haven't watched it because just like the day after, the whole bullshit blew up.
Yeah, I sometimes watch live streams, sometimes don't. Depends on how long they are, because they can be really long. But I didn't actually catch the stream where she sat down. I think she was talking with Peter about this whole bullshit, but I think that was within the last week or two. And I think
that was like last week Thursday.
Yeah, she made some.
I'm not
really
good giving any of them more views, so they can die mad about it. I don't care.
Yeah, she defended her not doing anything, and she made some slightly problematic. No, I shouldn't qualify them as slight. She made some kind of problematic. She made some problematic comments. Like, I'm sorry if that triggers you or something like that. I can't remember too much, but.
She did say that. Maria the Witch's video of like the left can't self-crit covered a lot of the highlights from that stream. And some people have noticed that like Go Flame Yourself mentioned in her video, not surprising that Peter Coffin unlisted the stream the day afterwards. I think actually Peter Coffin just unlists all of the streams he does. So I don't think
So that's kind of an unfair criticism from her. But she might.
I mentioned that in a comment.
Yeah. At this point, though, I don't really blame Angie for flying off the handle a bit. She's been putting up with some severe bullshit for months now. So I'm not going to scream at her too much about that. And I don't think she should.
I'm not going to scream at her either. I sent her a message on Facebook. Because we were friends, actually, which is why I'm so pissed. Just telling her I think it's bullshit, all the harassment she's doing. But I unfriended her, and I unsubbed from YouTube, and I unfollowed from Twitter because... No, I'm not someone with a very nuanced view of the world, and... if you make triggered jokes and if you make the comments she made, you're not my friend.
Yeah, exactly. She actually blocked me on Twitter, so that's why I won't not be able to like see her recent comments, as it were. And that's all because, like I just said, I'm a bit disappointed in Angie Speaks, which that was without me actually seeing the stream. But after what I saw in Maria Witch's video, it's just like. I deleted that later because I felt bad to contribute to the harassment that she was receiving, and said something
saying
to that effect.
You're a bit disappointed in someone is not harassment, though.
No. I agree. So I think I'll tweet it again and saying I stand by that statement. But the harassment, this doxing, the death threats, and all that should.
That's not acceptable. Then some part of me wants to be very petty, and I won't be, but I don't know.
And I think there's some. I can understand where Peter Coffin and Angie Speaks are coming from in the idea of like council culture, or call culture, or criticizing that. But as I stated before on Twitter, I don't think that should be used to dismiss allegations of someone being a sexual harasser and rape.
Yeah. There is. Let's see. Was it Maria the Witch or not Maria the Witch? Go Film Yourself. Can't remember who. Somebody talked about. Said it very, very well. Believing survivors doesn't mean you automatically cut off and attack and punish and so on the accused. It means you take them seriously.
I don't know who said that, but yeah, that still is.
It was in response to this. I think it was Go Film Yourself. And it was a really excellent point. And Peter didn't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that was his big sin, was that he just sort of dismissed it and didn't want to get involved. Very, very much a white guy thing to do. Angie, whatever. But another big thing I saw coming up recently, or at least in the big American stream, non-compete that eventually had, before I
Oh,
cut it
fuck
off.
those people, all of them, honestly.
Let's see, American Johnson, Chrisiosity, I think Angie was on there, Creationist Cat, Vadim?
Well,
Yes,
not fuck Christiosity because she's amazing, but
right. In fact, Maria Witch, when she finally saw that like 3 hours and 43-minute stream with like American Johnson, non-compete, Luna Oy, Kevin Logan, it started the stream with just those three, but then Angie joined, Chris House joined, Angie joined, then Vadim also joined and popped in, then Peter Coffin also popped in, and then Jack Saints also popped in. But it was only
so many trans women.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Maria Witch, like Cameron, like it was only Chrisiosity that brought up the original thing of Lorelei Bailey and how she is not good for leftist spaces and should not belong in leftist spaces. But then again,
Chrisiosity,
this also was,
from what I remember, from what I saw, was really good about speaking hard for trans women. Continually trying to bring it back to trans women. Chrissy was.
Christiosity, yeah, but she was
pretty
dismissed.
much the only one, I think. Like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing, so.
I mean, as much as I love Kevin, what the fuck was he doing there? Vadim said he didn't know anything about the story, but he was there.
Yeah, I don't know what he. I don't know anything about Creationist Cat. I've never watched any of his stuff, so I don't know.
And I think the problem was like that stream kind of was focused on the harassment of that was being lobbied at like Peter, and the worst harassment that was lobbied at Angie Speaks. It's when Angie Speaks also came on, it was in that middle of the worst of the harassment that she was receiving. So that's kind of why the focus of it kind of like shifted away from Lorelei Bailey and her crimes. And it's so I can understand that, but yeah, it's just like they kind of do say that like it's two separate things, but yet for most of the people, for the rest of the people except for like Christiosity, the focus was on what Angie and Peter was going through, who are the people who are visible, who are the people that have platforms, but yet the victims of Lorelei Bailey's rape and abuse are not visible and are kind of hidden, and so that's why
not only are they trans women, but they are trans women with a history of mental illness. Lorelei chose her victims well, I have to say, because she was almost assured that nobody would believe them.
Yeah, no one would care.
Yep.
And then finally, something else I saw coming up a lot, particularly in the BreadTube stream, was people saying, no, this is COINTELPRO, COINTELPRO, COINTELPRO. Or just COINTEL.
Oh, for that shit.
Yeah. Saying, the left would never do this. This is a right-wing thing to attack Angie. And that, I mean...
That's naive at best.
Yeah.
I agree.
I can definitely see right-wing assholes monitoring the left tube and jumping onto any drama to make it worse. But the fact is, they don't need to. They don't need to. The left is perfectly willing to attack, various people, always willing to go after purity stuff, and they're willing to attack and harass women, women of color, trans women, trans men, anyone. We have all the same bigotries and biases. Even though we try sometimes a little bit not to. It's perfectly... Yeah, I just think it's naive to think that this whole thing against Angie is just COINTELPRO. Just, right-wing trolls.
Especially since Angie doesn't have a huge audience.
What was that?
She doesn't have a huge audience of hate viewers.
Yeah, exactly. The people who kind of like say it must be the right doing this, I think are just trying to like not to try to think, oh no, the left is not the bad guy. We can't be the bad guy. No, we can definitely be the bad guy. I mean, I have some like mutuals who will say, shouldn't we, what kind of like alt-right playbook tactics should we use and something like that? And they were thinking of like to like propagate then like socialism and communism and leftism and that sort of thing. But yet some people probably do have the idea, no wait, what kind of alt-right tactics should we use and what should we do? Like the bots and like the key reforms kind of thing, or like, and some people have like participated in like raids into like other right wingers or other people's like discords, and it's just like, why do that? I ask myself.
I'm not even talking about using right wing tactics. I'm just talking about the willingness of people to go after, harass, mob, dogpile, and hold bigotries.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying being disabled and trying to do activism. You know.
Yeah.
I have given up on left unity a long time ago.
Yeah.
I have never even like considered left unity because I'm friends with trans people. We're not going to be unified with trans bigots. No.
I remember Atheism Plus about God, it was 8 years ago now. And I am well aware that there is and can be and certainly always will be bigotry and hatreds and small-mindedness, pettiness, and willingness to mob people from all directions.
Yep, bigotry is not exclusive to the right, and that's why we have the term brocialist. Even in like amongst anarchism, there's like manarchists, which it's oxymoronic because like that's like anarcho-capitalist. You are that's a contradiction in ideology.
But you know, right wingers always act like we have a hive mind.
Well, I mean, it's easy not to understand something if you don't participate in it or engage with it.
Yeah, but I mean, we disagree among ourselves way more than right wingers disagree among themselves. If someone has a hive mind, they do, not us. We're always fighting each other.
And that'll be it for this week in Social Justice Alchemy. We're going to split it in half for this one. Got a little bit long. So why don't you go ahead and make your pitches, Jonathan?
I am Summer Ending Geek on Twitter and on YouTube and on other places too. I do have a Tumblr, I do have an Instagram, and I do have a Facebook. I haven't put out a video recently, but check it out for whenever I do. But also, our friends and comrades still need some help. So Phoenix, formerly known as actually from the channel Phoenix Rising 87, formerly known as Electric Mayhem 87, she still needs to get the money to like stay in her current living situation, and so please donate to the GoFundMe campaign if you can. And then also our friend and comrade who's also disabled, Joanna, still begs online as always in order to live because the system is actively trying to kill her in a way. So please donate via PayPal if you can to SaphireJoe@gmail.com. And that's my pitches.
Okay, and Julie. Or
so,
Julie.
I'm Little Anor on YouTube. Well, I have nothing on my channel yet. One day, maybe. It's in the works in my brain, anyways. And on Twitter too. And on Facebook, I am the Crypt Crafter. That's where I post my art and crafts. And I am an admin at Anarchist Memes on Facebook too.
Okay. And as for me, I post these videos on YouTube at Social Justice Alchemy, and it is a podcast available on iTunes, Social Justice Alchemy, slightly edited just for length. I don't have to do that for YouTube. Not for content, because why the fuck would I? I also have a blog, if you want to talk back at us, or I used to post transcripts when these things were scripted. It does surgoshan.blogspot.com, surgoshan.blogspot.com. I take part in another podcast, the Dungeons and Debacles podcast, a D&D podcast hosted by my friend Kevin. where we are they call us an evil party, but we are trying to liberate a wrongly imprisoned red dragon. So, that is a lot of fun. If you're looking for something completely different, you can find me there.
Yeah, that podcast is amazing.
But also check back the back catalogs of the Social Justice Alchemy podcast and uploads, because John, your Jordan Peterson one was really informative. There was a lot of information there. So I encourage everyone to check back to the 2-parter on Jordan Peterson of Social Justice Alchemy.
Oh, thank you. The backlogs aren't fully available as podcasts just because BuzzFeed deletes them after a few months, but they are all available on the YouTube channel. Okay, and that'll do it for this week in Social Justice Alchemy. Thanks for stopping by, you two.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.